Have you ever felt embarrassed by sweat patches or felt conscientious that you might smell like an onion around other people? And despite trying lots of different products, you still haven't found a solution, you're still sweating? Well, I for one have experienced the embarrassment of having large sweat patches, but I recently went to Japan and I discovered an award-winning deodorant that is powerful and effective at targeting underarm sweat. So if you stick around in this video, I'm going to help you to tackle any sweat patches or sweat concerns that you have, and I'm going to add some bonus tips to share what I did to tackle my sweat patches. Hi, my name is Shermel and I create content to help you to become a wiser steward of your life. So if that's something that you are interested in, please subscribe, and subscribing will make you wiser. I never knew deodorant could win awards, but this deodorant, this Deonatulle Soft Stone Double Deodorant, has been ranked #1 for 11 years and is in the Hall of Fame at Cosme, which is a review ranking website. After using this deodorant from June last year, I have stopped sweating profusely under my armpits. It works so well. And once I started applying this deodorant, I stopped having sweat patches and I really didn't worry about how much I would sweat in a day. It really is a powerful deodorant. In the past, I would actually wear more layers to hide sweat patches. And I know that's like a catch-22 situation, because the more layers you wear, the hotter you're gonna get, and then you inevitably end up sweating more. But it was really done to hide the sweat. So I don't know how effective it was, but I was just so conscientious of it that I chose to wear more layers to cover up. When I was in Japan, I wasn't planning to buy deodorant. Like, I know their skincare is really good, but I didn't think of buying deodorant. But I stumbled across this because it had this packaging which said it was, well, at the time it was 10 years award winning. So I'd always wanted a deodorant that was affordable, effective, natural, and it didn't actually work to block my pores, because I didn't know if that would be so effective. Japan, like a lot of other countries, has a really hot summer and there's quite high humidity as well. For people that sweat a lot, this deodorant is just such a saving grace. And it helped me so much and saves you from embarrassment, even on extremely hot days. So what makes this deodorant effective? So for me, it's really the formula and how well and easy it is to apply under my arms and how long it lasts. One application of this lasts the entire day. This is a natural deodorant and it's a roll-on. And it's made from natural alum, which is actually an ingredient that comes from volcanoes. So is that Mount Fuji I see out there? It's colorless. So if you're worried about white stains appearing on your clothes after you wear this you don't have to worry about. And it's fragrance free, so that's really good because it prevents you from getting irritated. For those who have sensitive skin, it will prevent irritation. This deodorant neutralizes the bacteria that causes the smell of sweat. And what's great about this is that it's actually alcohol free. So if you're worried about that, and it's only like 20 grams and it's pure power. It doesn't have any smell, which is great for people who want to go fragrance free. Now, do you still sweat if you use this deodorant? Well, I found that I didn't sweat under my armpits when I used this deodorant. However, there were times where if it was extremely hot, I would tend to sweat around my neck or down my back, which is not an area that I would usually sweat along. So I think when your body needs to self-regulate, it will find a way to do that and your sweat will be released. But I found that those less embarrassing sweating around my neck or my back than my armpits, because when that stains, it's very obvious and patchy and it just doesn't look great. So this deodorant, like it solves the problem of underarm pit sweat. Other areas you may need something else to apply to stop. But generally, you're built to sweat, so it's very natural, so don't worry too much. Even though I would still sweat, I never was smelly when I applied this. So how to use this deodorant? It's a roll-on, so you roll it out of the tube to 1 centimeter. and then you apply it 5 to 6 times under the armpit, and voila, you're done. It's so simple and straightforward. You only need to apply it once and it's going to work all day long. I tend to apply it in the morning after showering, but at the end I'm going to talk you through my specific steps of applying this. Please don't apply this deodorant after you come out of the shower immediately. Give your body time to cool down and self-regulate first. Do your skincare, your moisturizing before applying it, and then once your temperature is cooler, then apply it. And the reason why I say that is because I think it has a bit of a menthol effect, and so that can actually feel irritating if you are very hot out of the shower. So I just like to apply it when my temperature has cooled down and I don't feel any irritation. Since using this deodorant, there's been very limited circumstances where I need to use another deodorant. And if I'm using another deodorant, it will usually be in combination with this. And towards the end, I'll explain like why I would recommend using a spray deodorant as well as this. I still wouldn't get any stains under my armpit. If you're wondering where to get this product, the link is in the description below. So you can easily find this product online. Now, when I was shopping in Don Quixote, I saw tons of different deodorants. This is not the only product that Deonatulle does. If you're shopping in Don Quixote or Seams or any of these drugstores, you'll see a wide range of Deonatulle's products. And they basically specialize in creating products that prevent odor and sweat. So there's a lot of different products. And so while I was in Don Quixote, I discovered that this had a sister. Now, I think I need to tell you about its sister before you go there and you pick this up. There are things that you should know. Yes, this is its sister. And it looks exactly the same. It's the same size, same shape. It's just in a green bottle. But what it does is actually different. It has a different function from this version. It's a completely different function and it does work differently. So which one should you get when you're out in Japan? This product immediately piqued my interest because it was marketed as being able to brighten my underarm skin. And as you know, like most people, their armpits are slightly darker than the rest of their body. So I just thought, oh, this is going to be great to help to brighten that skin. And I was very wrong with this product. I tried this in the exact same way as the previous deodorant. Even though the product is green, as you can see, it's a green product, it doesn't come out green. So if you're worried about that. However, the issue with this, well, there are two issues. The first issue was that it leaves a faint white cast on my skin. And it's hard to even show this on a camera because it's not so clear, but I know that it's there. So this doesn't actually brighten. What it does is that it actually just leaves a white residue on your skin, and that's supposed to make your armpits brighter. However, I don't think it is a permanent effect. It is very temporary. So the day of use, essentially. So if you're worried about your deodorant affecting your clothes, like rubbing off on your clothes and those white deodorant marks being visible, then I wouldn't recommend this. And another thing that the problem that I had with this is that the effect of brightening is not permanent. It's just that white residue. So I just don't see how this is gonna lighten your skin. The only people that this may be effective for is if you're Caucasian or you're really, really fair skin and the white residue may not be noticeable. However, if you are not those colors, then this is not for you and this is not for me. So I wouldn't recommend this at all. This is like the evil green-eyed sister. This caused me so much irritation. There were times where I applied this product and I actually had to remove it. And I was like, what is the issue here? It is just so much stronger. Now, if we look at the ingredient, it appears to have more ingredients than the original white version. And I don't know if some of those extra ingredients that are in it that are causing me the irritation. So I couldn't really benefit from this product as much as I benefited from the original version. And interestingly, this is not won any awards. This one is like not the award winning, but I thought, oh, this is going to be so good. It's targeting an issue that I have. And if the original one is effective, then this one might be too. No, it's not. It's not worth it. Don't waste your money on this. And when I went to Japan 2 weeks ago, I chose not to repurchase this because I just knew it would cause irritation. If you are Caucasian or you're fair skin, you may want to try this if you are looking for something brightening. However, I wouldn't recommend this. I still wouldn't recommend this because it does cause irritation. I think that it's a lot more stronger than this version. So I think if you have sensitive skin, I would not use this at all. However, this works on sensitive skin, but there are tricks on how to apply this properly so that you don't have any irritation, even if your skin is slightly sensitive. All the products are linked in the description below. And while you're there, please subscribe, like, comment on this video. Now, I do want to mention that this brand doesn't just do products for women. They do have a version of the deodorants for men too. So if you're a man watching this, then there are the same products, just a male version. This company, Deonatulle, they seem to do a lot of odor preventing and sweat prevention products. I didn't buy anything else while I was there. However, there were some really interesting products. For example, they have a powder that you can apply to your décolleté or to the back of your legs, or even to your elbow crease. Anywhere that you sweat, and you just apply this powder to, and that's supposed to help you to sweat less. And they have cream versions of their deodorant, so you can actually use a cream if you don't like roll-ons. However, I do find the roll-ons easier to use. They also have products that will stop foot odor, so creams that are going to help you to stop having, like if you have problems with sweaty feet or smelly feet, then they do have great options for you as well. Products might be useful, especially the powder. I found that even though when I applied the original version to my skin, I didn't sweat under my armpits, but on extremely hot days, I would sweat more around my neck, and I don't usually sweat around my neck. So I just think it might be useful. I'm just sharing this tip, like to maybe pick up a powder as well, because that might help you on those days where you're feeling sweaty. And it's really compact, so I think it's easy to take with you, especially if you're conscious that you might break out in a sweat, like if you're getting nervous. I think just putting that powder around your neck might actually be helpful, and to make any sort of signs of sweat less visible. And I just do want to mention that sweating and body odor is very, very personal, and the severity of which can vary between individuals. So what might work for me may not work for you. However, I have tried quite a lot of deodorants, and I do think that if you give this a try, it might help you to reduce sweat considerably. You may have the best deodorant, but there are several hacks that I personally use that have helped me to sweat less. Now, the first one may seem a bit odd or less obvious, but as a Christian, I think it's important to pray. Ask God for wisdom on how to deal with sweat. And if you are really concerned about it and you feel like it's a major issue or hindrance to your life, like ask God for healing. God can do all things. So with man, it may be impossible, but with the Lord, it's possible. Like pray for healing, like pray for wisdom to tackle your sweat. Pray for healing. Like if it's very severe, and if it's just something that's bugging you, like why can't you ask God to help you to overcome it instead of trying to do it in your own strength? God can do more for you in minutes than you could do for yourself in a lifetime. So just be prayerful. Ask God to help you and strengthen you and help you to stop sweating or to stop sweating excessively. Next hack that I found is giving myself a license to sweat. Yes, a license to sweat. So what does that mean? I exercise in the mornings, like really early. I try to go to the gym and do like a HIIT workout, a high intensity interval training or strength training or even running. All of those things help me to sweat a lot, And during that time, I'm not worried about how much I'm sweating, how much I'm smelling, because during that time I want to sweat and get a lot of my sweat out. And what I've noticed is that whenever I go to the gym and say I'm going out for the rest of the day, once I've gone and done my exercise and I sweat a lot, during the day I'm going to sweat less. It really is a boost of confidence. One, of course, you're going to feel energized for your day, and you're sweating less. So I think sometimes just exercising, going for walks, doing something that's gonna really make you sweat is gonna help you to sweat less during the times where you don't want to appear that like you're sweating. I do want to mention that when I go to the gym or exercise first thing in the morning, I don't apply this deodorant. I usually would just use a spray deodorant like Mitchum, and I just spray that on just to smell fresh. But I don't use this deodorant because I always think that a roll-on deodorant should be applied to clean skin. And before I go to the gym, I don't shower before I go to the gym. I shower after I go to the gym. So I would say I wouldn't encourage you to apply this deodorant before you go to the gym. Just apply like a spray-on deodorant and then go to the gym. And then once you come home and you have a shower, then I would say apply this deodorant. I would say one good thing about going to the gym and exercising, it causes you to drink more water. And if you drink water, it's going to help you to regulate your body temperature much better. So that's going to cause you to sweat less, which is a win-win situation. Also, another thing which I think ties into exercise and drinking more water is also think about what you're eating. Alcohol consumption, caffeine, and even spicy foods can lead you to sweat more. So that's something, if you cut those things out or reduce your intake of those things, you're much more likely to sweat less or be conscientious about your smell. So when you exercise more, you generally pick up the other good habits like drinking water and eating better. So just be conscientious that sometimes it may not be your deodorant. It could be the food, the reaction that your body's having to the food that you're eating that could cause you to smell. So just be wise with your food choices. Now, another thing I would say is bathe frequently. Of course, if you're exercising, you're doing a sweaty activity, you're going to want to come home and shower. And that's great because if you are someone who is sweating excessively, then showering frequently will definitely help you to get rid of that sweat and the bad smells. So that's something to be conscientious. And when I say frequently, like if you are worried or really conscientious about it, like twice a day would be ideal, like in the morning and before going to bed. And if you're just slightly worried about your sweat, then once a day is enough. I only use this deodorant on clean skin. So after showering, I don't use it before going to the gym. I use it after showering, after I come out of the gym. But how do I apply it? So after I have showered, I don't apply this immediately straight away. What I do is I would do all my other skincare, and before I put my clothes on, then I apply it. And the reason being is because I found that if I apply this immediately after I came out of the shower, after doing a high intensity workout, my body temperature is very, very high. And I found this to cause a bit of irritation if my body temperature is very high, like after showering. So I would say to you, just wait, give yourself time for your body to self-regulate and for your temperature to come down to a normal temperature and then apply it. By the time I've done my skincare, that's when my temperature is very stable and I feel like I can apply this. So just, I think that will help. As I said, don't apply this. This caused irritation even after cooling down. So don't do this, don't use this. I encourage you to shave frequently or wax or epilate or just do hair removal frequently enough so that the sweat won't attach to your armpit hairs, and that any bad smells, any bacteria will not cling on to the hairs under your armpits. I do prefer waxing because I think that it just pulls the hair out from the root and it lasts much longer. And I find that when I was using hair removal creams, I actually felt like I sweated a lot more. So I just don't use them for under my armpits. So that may be something that could cause you to be a bit more sweaty too. So just be mindful of that. However, if you shave or if you wax or if you epilate or if you use hair removal cream, I would say don't apply the deodorant on the day that you do those things. Reason being is because it will cause small cuts in the skin, and this will cause increased sensitivity under your armpits. There's been times where I've done that and I had to use a flannel to remove the deodorant because it was just causing so much irritation. So don't apply it the same day as you epilate or you do hair removal. I realized that there may be times where you're showering, you're applying the deodorant in the appropriate manner at the appropriate time, but you still find yourself smelly. Well, it may not be you, it could be your clothes. So I think you could try this grandma's hack, which I always use, and that is soaking your clothes in bicarbonate of soda and vinegar in equal parts. So the same amount of bicarbonate of soda you use, the same amount of vinegar you use, and then I just put hot water. I do this every time I wear my gym clothes because bicarbonate of soda and vinegar is the perfect deodorizer. Bicarbonate of soda and vinegar are usually in most people's kitchens, and if they're not in your kitchen, then it's easy to find, it's easy to get. And I just think it's such a cost-effective way of stopping my clothes smelling, because what happens is that over time, if you're wearing the same clothes, even if you put it in the washing machine, you may find that the armpit may smell a bit foul. And by using bicarbonate of soda and vinegar with some hot water, you're going to deodorize your clothes. And you don't even need to actually hand wash these clothes. You just soak it in a bucket with these two products, and you can leave it like overnight or for a few hours, and then I just put them in the washing machine, and literally my clothes do not smell of sweat. And I sweat a lot, but once I've given myself a license to sweat, I go full throttle with that, and I soak my clothes. After I go to the gym, I'm absolutely soaked in sweat. So I just put my gym clothes straight into a bucket with bicarbonate of soda and vinegar, and it literally deodorizes the smell. So if you are wearing certain clothes and you think, oh, actually you've done all these steps but you're still smelling, then try this hack. I call it the grandma's hack, and it will really make your clothes smell so much better. And then you won't be conscientious about your armpits smelling like an onion or you smelling like an onion, because you know this trick. So once you know this trick, you have no excuse to smell like an onion. Previously, I used to just put my gym clothes in the washing machine, or sometimes I would just use soap and hand wash them and then put them in the washing machine. So that was quite a lot of steps. That didn't completely deodorize my clothes. With this hack, it really does deodorize your clothes, and it's just phenomenal. So I would definitely consider washing your clothes in bicarbonate of soda and vinegar for them to be smelling extra fresh. You might have given yourself a license to sweat, bathing frequently, praying about sweat, washing your clothes in bicarbonate of soda. You may be doing all these things, but there may be another hidden problem that is causing you to have body odor, and that could be caused down to the clothes that you're actually wearing. So certain fibers in clothes actually attract microbes and germs, and they can cause you to sweat. They retain your body oils and cause you to smell. Usually non-natural fibers do this. For example, polyester and nylon. They actually can cause you to smell because the fibers trap the body oils. So that can cause you to smell. Even though you followed all these other steps that I've given to you, you could still find yourself wondering, like, why do I smell like an onion? I've done all these things, but it could be the fact that the fibers that you're wearing are retaining the body oils and attracting microbes. And so it's just like a breeding ground for body odor. So what can you do? What's the alternatives? Well, you can try to wear natural fibers, for example, cottons, wool. Try to swap non-natural fibers with natural fibers. The other thing is, I realized that sometimes there's not really a way to get around this. For example, when I went to a wedding, I bought a dress. I really like the style of the dress. The dress was polyester. And I was wondering, like, why don't I smell as fresh as I usually do? Like, I had showered, I had put my deodorant on, but it's the dress actually smells. It's not me, it's the actual dress, the nature of the polyester fabric against my skin. And so the polyester rubbing against your skin or nylon rubbing against your skin can cause you to smell, even though you use deodorant. A way to get around this where you can is to wear natural fibers. Also, on the topic of clothing, as a young adult, I definitely try to wear more layers to cover up sweat stains, and because they can just be embarrassing. However, this is a double-edged sword, because really and truly, when you're wearing more layers, you're gonna be hotter. And so your temperature will rise, and that can cause you to sweat more. Another thing that you could try doing is actually wearing loose fitting clothes, because if your clothes are tight and you sweat, it's easy for the sweat marks to stain those clothes. But if your clothes are loosely fitted, the sweat is more likely to stay on your body and not on the clothes. So it will just make the sweat patches less noticeable. So that's another thing you can do. I do want to mention that sweating is a natural process, and there may be times where you sweat, and that's just because your body needs to self-regulate. Your body needs to cool your temperature down. That's why I said initially, give yourself a license to sweat. If you are noticing that you are sweating despite trying all these tips, then it could just be hormones. And different times in different months, you may smell better or you may smell worse, and it just could be down to your hormones and not anything else, and it will just pass with time. Just be mindful of that and be gracious to yourself. Don't vilify yourself for sweating. It is a natural process. Now, if you've tried everything and you are sweating excessively and there's no obvious cause for your sweating and there's no obvious solution, I would encourage you to seek medical advice, because it could be a problem that's completely out of your control. And so definitely consider seeking professional support. This video is not meant to give you medical advice. I do hope that if you implement some of these tips, like praying, bathing frequently, giving yourself a license to sweat, applying this deodorant so you've cooled down, wearing natural fibers, loose fitting clothes, I believe that all these little tips will compound, and you'll eventually find yourself sweating less, smelling better, and having more confidence, because you're not worried about sweat patches or how you smell to other people. So even though these may seem like tiny little steps, it's like those little tiny habits that actually can transform how you feel about yourself and how much confidence you have when you're out and about. Try using this deodorant and the hacks that I've given you, and hopefully you will find yourself sweating less, smelling better, and feeling more confident when you're around other people. You're going to be less conscientious about sweating because it will be non-existent. Let me know in the comments if you've tried both of these and what your opinion is on them. Like, did this cause you irritation? Did this stop your sweating? Do you understand why it's ranked for 11 years #1? So tell me if you've tried any of these products or any deodorants from Deonatulle. Let me know. Also, if you have a favorite deodorant or any hacks that you've used yourself that have helped you to stop sweating, please share them in the comments below, because I really believe it's going to help so many other people, and there may be things that I haven't tried or haven't mentioned that may be really effective to other people who will watch this video, and I'd love to know as well, because there may be things that I'd like to try too. In my next video, I'm going to talk all about my skincare routine, so if you're interested in what skincare that I currently use, both Japanese and Korean products, then stick around, hit the subscribe button and comment below and like the video, turn the notification bell on. Now, if you are using this deodorant and you still feel that you're a bit smelly, it could be due to your skincare that you're using. So please check out this video where I talk about all the amazing Japanese Nivea products that have made me smell great, my skin's supple and smooth all day long, and I'll see you in the next one.